As we discussed earlier, the dairy industry, which produce the different byproduct like cheese, butter, milk powder, and the bottled milk. Okay, so as we also discuss about the the different characteristics of the dairy industry wastewater. Okay, so the dairy industry is one of the most polluting industries, not only in terms of volume of effluent generated, but also in terms of its characteristics as well. A chain of operations involving receiving and sorting of raw materials, processing of raw materials, then conversion into finished products, and packaging and storing of finished products, and group of other operations. Okay, that is heat transfer, cleaning will be produced the wastewater. So wastewater generate at each and every stage of dairy processing. So characteristics of wastewater we discussed already. The dairy wastewater which contains milk solid, it contains detergents, it contains sanitizers, milk waste, and cleaning water. It is characterized by high concentration of nutrients and organic solid, also inorganic solid. Salting activities during cheese production may result in high salinity levels. Wastewater may also contain acids, alkalis with a number of other ingredients and disinfectant, and also it contains the microbiological load, pathogenic viruses and bacteria. Okay, so these all some required in the process of like a cheese, milk powder and butter. Okay, so this going to be included into the wastewater. So other wastewater stream include the cooling water from the utilities, storm water and sanitary sewage. Okay, so characteristics of wastewater we discussed, so that is pH, solid, BOD, COD, nitrogen, and these all characteristics. Okay, so the wastewater treatment process in dairies, the dairy industry generate on an average 2.5 to 3.0 liters of wastewater per liter of milk process. The effluent are generated from milk processing through milk spillage, drippings, and washing of cans, tankers, bottle, then equipments and floors. Okay, so due to cleaning of these all like equipment, floors, then bottles, then cans, okay, and drippings and spillage, which generate the wastewater. And processing in the treatment of industrial effluent may consist of any one of the following operation like equalization, neutralization, physical treatment and biological treatment. So equalization is the process where we can equalize the characteristics of wastewater. The physical treatment like screening for removal of solid, and biological treatment like oxidation bond and activated sludge process for the removal of organic load. So effect of wastewater, dairy wastewater when discharged into the land. So dissolved salts which contained in a dairy plant wastewater can adversely affect the soil structure if wastewater is used to irrigation land. Okay, so if we use this wastewater from the dairy waste to the irrigation land, then with dissolved salt which contain in dairy plant wastewater can adversely affect the soil structure. Okay. The next, wastewater can also leach into the underlying groundwater and affect its quality. Okay. So if that wastewater is leached into the underlying groundwater, that also change the quality of underground water. It affects its quality. High salt level affect the type of vegetation and growth. Next, over irrigation may cause the underlying water table to rise and resulting in further deterioration of surface soils and vegetation. Okay, so these are various effects which may be caused due to discharge of this dairy wastewater to the land and irrigation. What are the effects of wastewater when discharged into the sewer? The volume and organic load of wastewater from just one dairy factory during peak season may well exceed the township domestic waste. This may overload the sewage treatment plant and cause odor and gives rise to the poor effluent quality. So domestic wastewater have a BOD5 concentration of about 250 to 300 mg per liter. But in a peak season, a large dairy factory could be discharged maximum up to 2000 mg per liter per day. So the additional load on a sewage plant is equivalent to extra 16,000 person, which may be very difficult to treat. Okay. So if we are going to mix these dairy wastewater into the sewer, and sewer, it is nothing but the pipeline or underground conduit which is used for the transportation of sewage to the sewage treatment plant. Okay, and if we discharge this dairy industry wastewater into sewer, so it may be going to be overload the sewage treatment plant, and that going to be change the effluent quality. That means which cause odor problem and also gives to the poor quality effluent. Okay, and also if domestic wastewater having normally the BOD concentration vary from 250 to 300 mg per liter, and in case if you consider the dairy industry, maybe the discharge having 2000 mg per liter of BOD, that is the additional load on sewage plant, and it may be very difficult to treat that much BOD in domestic wastewater treatment plant or the sewage treatment plant. Okay, so these are the effect of the discharge of dairy wastewater into the sewer. So avoiding waste during liquid milk production. So liquid milk production may lead to the generation of odor, wastewater, noise, and solid waste. And suggestion for avoiding waste during liquid milk production are given in figure. So process like you can say milk receiving and storage. So what is the waste generated? That is the milk, chemical, sanitizer, and wastewater. Next, pasteurization, treatment, homogenization, ultrafiltration, and packaged milk. So what are the waste generated from this process? Milk, chemicals, sanitizer, wastewater, and also the chemicals. So some are the precautions which you can take to avoid the waste during the milk production. Okay, so this avoiding the waste during the butter production. Okay, so that is the ways to prevent the buildup of surface deposit include the minimization of surface area, prevention of buildup of milkstone deposits, maintenance of butter churns, then correct preparation of before filling, not overworking the batch. Okay, so these are the process, that is milk, salt, and okay, which convert into the butter, and the waste we generated, that is buttermilk and butter wash water, and some of the precautions. Okay, so these are all about the different uh, characteristics of wastewater, and the what are the different effect of disposal of wastewater into the land, sewer. Okay, and what are the different treatment methods, that is the activated sludge process and oxidation pond. This method we can use for the treatment of the dairy waste. Okay, so first the receiving station, then cooling, then pasteurization, then bottling filling, then refrigeration, and to the distributor. So these are some of various operations which carried out at the dairy industry. So it's all about the dairy industry, that is production and manufacturing process of milk and other products like cheese, butter. Okay, and the characteristics of dairy waste and the treatment of dairy industry wastewater.